Welcome to the Weekly Hijack.
Hello, everyone.
This is Once Upon a Time edition. Tonight's episode. I keep forgetting to check
I didn't even
before.
look this time.
The Bear and the Bow. Thank you, Natasha.
Good work.
We were making fun of this episode a lot as we were watching it, but I mean, that's just kind of fun riff tracks type stuff.
Yeah.
Overall, it's not terrible.
No, it was actually one of the better Belle episodes we had for a while, I think.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. I mean, which is sort of a shame because Rumpelstiltskin and Belle was one of the first, was an early great romance, and then it kind of floundered like last season or so.
But it felt like it got like some of the old school goodness in this episode.
Mm-hmm. Well, I really appreciated that they basically set him up with the same sort of choice that he had when he lost Balefire.
Yeah.
The either go with your loved one or run away, essentially. And this time he finally chose the right option.
And I like that Belle basically just chews him out. I mean, that's good stuff.
Yeah, she's not afraid. She won't take his crap, basically. She's not afraid to say what needs to be said.
I was thinking this last episode and forgot to mention, and it applies just as much as this episode. One of our biggest complaints about last season was that they were talking like heroes be villains, villains heroes, and then it ended up being kind of lame. Mm-hmm. But this season, it's actually doing it. Mm-hmm. Like we actually have a evil swan, and we have an actual pretty good Rumple, and it works.
I mean, it's just super cool to see him once he finally had a spark of bravery that wasn't magic derived, that he could still be awesome.
Him pulling out the sword was kind of cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really quite understand how one act of goodness lets you pull out Excalibur, but
that's the part that I didn't like. It's like, Excalibur is like a kind of pulling that out. It's kind of a big deal. Like one other guy in all of history was able to do it. And I know, 3 episodes ago, or the first episode of the season or whatever, they explain how the Brave, because he was
wiped clean after
or whatever. But this episode, for me to buy that scene, needed to re-explain that somehow or do something to make me get it more, because it really was like. Just anybody who's brave can pull it out, then there's 3/4 of the town can take it.
No, I'm with you. I like seeing Rumbles do it, but simultaneously at the same time I was thinking, okay, he's done he didn't run away. I mean, it was basically
it wasn't even that much bravery that he had.
I mean, it was a big deal for him and on him, but for Excalibur.
The vast majority of people, they had nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I could see them bringing that back. I mean, obviously, Emma was very hell-bent on having Rumpelstiltskin be the one to do it all this time.
And I think the reason was just because he'd been basically either blank slate. So apparently, if you were,
if you're filled with evil and then suddenly all the evil gets removed somehow, then you're at neutral.
Well, I guess the thing is everyone else is a mixture, but he had been wiped clean, so he could do a little bit of goodness in it.
And
he's and then he's super good. I'm not sure exactly how.
It's very strange redemption
I'm not sure
system.
how Arthur, who apparently is not remotely good, managed to pull it the first time. But
well, that was
good before.
That's true.
That was good before he had done. Yeah, he gone into the crazy.
Again, one of our little fun jokes was okay, Arthur was trying to fool everyone. Okay, and I get that. And he throws a thing, which is annoying, but he doesn't poke with a stick to make sure it actually breaks up or make sure it actually burns or
it's not just slightly charred.
I mean, anyone who's tried to hide anything, you would at least I don't know. But once he got past that, the fact that Henry got to do it because he's the author, it was fun.
I'm glad they haven't completely abandoned that.
They've actually, I felt like this season they've had a lot of moving plots, and they've balanced them really well. The whole hero-villain thing last season, it's we have Ursula, and then it just kind of pitters. It was very uneven how they played the parts. This, we get.
We joke the 3 villainesses were more like hooligans. Yeah, that were going on parties.
But even what's her name? Is it Zelina?
Yeah.
Even, they haven't had her in there. They don't need her. They brought her here, and she seemed to work really well. She's so ridiculous in a wonderful way. I mean, she's just very...
She's I don't care. Just leave me alone.
Yeah. But, I mean, it was a nice scene, and it felt like you were moving her, that little plot forward, and they don't bring her in. You don't need her, and it just... I don't know, they have a better balance this season.
You definitely get the feel like she's there because they like working with the actress as opposed to absolutely needing her for the story.
And I feel like they're setting up something that will happen.
That's entirely possible. It could be either something for their little mini season, or sometimes they do those like weird little season finales that don't have much to do with the rest of the.
I'm at this point. She's been in a weird in just enough that I feel like they're kind of just holding her, and they actually, when Swan said someday you'll need me, I feel like that's something they actually mean to pay off.
That's probably true. Merida and Belle got along very well, considering their relationship started off with a kidnapping.
Yeah. Merida, I love just how ridiculously intense she is all the time. I know, she's fun.
Aside from that, I don't really know that I have a whole lot to say about the flashback. I mean, it served well to give Merida more screen time, and it was kind of cute.
And I think people wanted to have, since they have Merida, they want her to actually have a plot line. Like, what happened to the family, the post-movie stuff.
Post-Brave,
and it did a pretty good sense of that.
Yeah, it felt pretty true to the...
And if nothing else, it really felt like both give an example of Belle being able to basically Belle is like, I'm going to cheerlead you until you do what you need to do.
Yes.
She's always done that, but it kind of gave her a chance to do that in two pretty decent plot lines.
That and be the team researcher.
Yeah. Yeah, like Merlin needs to get in, she's like, this page of this 1,000-page book, I know it right here. I like Merlin a lot.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying
it was funny. Before the episode, you had a little prediction.
And I'm wrong.
Well, probably.
Probably. I'm almost certainly wrong.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? They're going to make him bad, and Swan's doing stuff for... And I'm like, no. After this episode, no.
I really I think it would have been a neat... I mean, we could still see it. I don't think so, but I think it would have been a neat twist to see Swan...
Have an ulterior motive?
Yeah, like a good ulterior. And I think she still thinks she's doing something right.
Yeah, I
but
think
she's not.
Yeah, I would agree. I think there's still something along
We'll get
those
something
lines.
else.
She's not trying to be pure evil.
Right.
She thinks she's doing something for the good that isn't being done.
Yeah, there's some shoe to drop there, I think, in the flashback that we don't get yet.
She's probably going to wind up more like the Ice Queen from last season, in the Frozen arc. For the most part, crazy, but then there's some little thing.
I really feel like, when we had Frozen last season, we have Merida. I feel like just in all the different things, this season just is stronger. I feel like they're pulling the new princess character in a better way this one than Elsa.
I never watched Brave, so I don't know. I don't like Merida at all.
I enjoy it.
But I've not watched Brave, and I don't like.
It's the same character.
It's the same,
practically.
Yeah.
She's really not much different in the movie.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I'm excited to get to proto Dark One. I think is we're going to old school.
I just don't like story.
It seemed like almost like the first Dark One.
Oh, the origins of the Dark One. Yeah.
I think that could be fun.
Although, man, in the preview they showed all those names flying by. It's like, how long has the Dark One been around? Merlin must be an old dude because he was the one who originally.
Yeah, well, Merlin he's immortal, isn't he? Basically, in mythology, he lives backwards apparently in some versions.
Okay.
Which is why he knows the future, because it depends on what version of Merlin
you were saying Nimue, who they name dropped at some point, is actually his wife?
That's from another Merlin thing that I have watched. It was his wife. So I don't know in this...
Well, then...
It sounds... my guess is it would be a girl relation that he had.
Well, it's interesting because, an episode 2 ago where he was like, you killed her. You remember that he was trying to... Fight the masked Dark One, which I half thought, well, maybe that is her behind the mask, whoever her is. So something's going to get complicated here, which could still be.
Could still be, because if it's you killed her and they have to find her, that would mean she's still alive, but she's not her.
Yeah,
personally.
Yeah.
She's the anti-Merlin.
The other thing I was going to say is this season, I'm not a huge fan. I could care either way, really, about the Merida plot thing, which just goes in well. I mean, it's fine and whatnot. But the Arthur thing is a side plot that they just need to forget. I mean, I would be fine if it needs to be like one of those kids in old sitcoms that they just 3 seasons in, the kid disappears, and that's what they need to do. They just need to stop.
Well, once it's had characters like that, like the magic mirror.
What do you think? Do you think Arthur's going? Do you think this Camelot thing is going to be like the second half of the? It's a weird it's the one part that just.
It doesn't feel like it fits. It seems like it should fit as well as Merida is fitting, but I'm with you. It just doesn't.
It should just go away.
It's like we don't have enough I mean, his flashback version was really well done of it. Mm-hmm. And then every time it's in Storybrooke, it just doesn't make any sense. He's like overly paranoid as opposed to being like smart double playing. He's like,
especially since
weird,
we don't even know
like
what he's
blunt double playing.
Unless is he faking that he doesn't remember that he had amnesia in Camelot? I mean, that'd be the only reason. I don't know. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
I mean, when you try to, I don't quite get it yet. Because wouldn't he want to talk to Merlin? To me, I'm like, why don't you talk to Merlin and just lie about what you hear?
Yeah,
I mean, does he want to talk to Merlin, or does he not like Merlin?
Well, I wondered, is that the end? Like, is Merlin dead? That was one question I had now after seeing that thing. Like,
he's at least incapacitated in some major way.
So, if he is actually gone, then maybe Arthur had a hand in that.
What was that thing we read that every time you have a curse, it costs someone's life?
Oh, yeah.
And we still don't know who was sacrificed for this curse. Mm-hmm. That something we read was mentioning that.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen in Lancelot or Merlin.
Yeah, so it's probably one of those two.
But can you talk with the mushroom to...
They got his voicemail, so...
well, that's true. Well, is it just to talk to an inanimate object? I don't know.
The rules for how the mushroom worked were one of those things that I kind of forgot.
I do enjoy at least that the whole random
rules. They don't have rules to anything.
One of the random, let's go find this piece of magic thing. I had actually played in a couple episodes. Like, it wasn't just one.
They went back to it.
Things that really, they don't, there's not as much throwaway stuff.
That's true.
So far.
Yeah, it's nice that they went back to it.
And when Excalibur's out, I'm really interested to see what
Emma's plans are, why she wants to.
There's a lot of questions that are like, I'm actually, when season first started, I'm like, okay, it's Once Upon a Time again. And I'm pretty, it's been intriguing.
I would agree. All right, I guess that's all we got.
All right.
We haven't actually said that on the Weekly Hijack in a while.
Not for a while. Nope, that's all. We need T-shirts. That's all we've got.
And that'll be the only T-shirt we have.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Can we have any more of that? No, that's all we've got.
Oh, at least we amuse ourselves. That's the important thing.
Yeah.
And if we amuse you, though, feel free to leave us a comment or a review on iTunes or any of our other...
and go listen to all 60 of our normal Derailed Trains of Thought episodes.
That's right. Episode 60 just came out, and we wound up talking about a long series and whether they should stop.
Yeah, and we name-drop Once Upon a Time.
That's true.
So
you'll have to listen to episode 60 of Derailed Trains of Thought and see what we said. Cliffhanger, sort of. And until next time, this has been Tim.
This is Nick.
Bye-bye.
Bye.